Why is it that we feel unworthy at times?
Because you've taken so much information from other unworthy feeling people who were holding you as their point of attention while they were feeling unworthy about themselves.
But why do we wallow in it?
Almost no one in a place where they're feeling unworthy is really looking for the upliftment of another. They're usually looking to compensate by making themselves feel better by making you not look so good in their own eyes. And you can feel the offness of it when you get into an interaction with someone like that. You can just tell they're not wanting to uplift me. They're trying to justify something that's gone wonky in their experience. Why you wallow in it, it's because of the momentum of law of attraction. We would say wallowing and continuing in the direction of something not wanted is simply because the momentum has happened. It's like saying, I've lodged this big boulder loose from the top of a hill and it's now rolling down the hill. Why can't I stop it before it plays its way out? Well, the answer to that is obvious. There's too much momentum. And it's the same answer. That's the reason anybody wallows. There's just momentum. So you don't stop it while it's underway. Instead, you wake up in a fresher state of mind and get something else going. We like the circular connection of all your questions. The reason that people feel unworthy is because when they have been wallowing and disallowing who they really are, in that disallowance, the disallowance of the brilliance that is you is what that unworthiness feels like.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Esther bought a big house, and it's a beautiful house, and it's in a beautiful place, and she's been having a lot of fun in the renovation of it and in the creation of it and in the attention to it. And when she first purchased it a little over a year ago and walked into it and experienced the wholeness of it, her sense of well-being and her sense of worthiness just emanated and hovered and stayed within her for a long time, for many days. And the reason that it did is because without even consciously realizing what was going on, so many thoughts and so many vibrations had turned to such a magnificent thing that in the awareness of the thing, it made her feel like she had to feel before the thing could occur. You kind of get a sense of what we're talking about? So that is, in fact, our friend wanted to play the game of appreciation with us earlier. That is the brilliance and the power of appreciation. When you find something that is easy for you to love and appreciate, that is already a manifestation, and you focus upon it, and that appreciation just flows forth from you, it connects you to this vibration that is still at the early beginning stages on so many things. In other words, like this house that Esther is appreciating so much, put her in a vibration that allowed many things that had not yet turned to things to begin the movement. You see, can you feel the law in that? So anything that you can do to begin momentum, especially easy momentum. So if there's a lot of momentum going already, not the boulder rolling down the hill or not wallowing in something unwanted, but the kind of momentum that you want to keep going, if that momentum is going and you get a glimpse of it, hook onto it and ride it, because as you practice that appreciation that comes easily, then it's less likely that you will ever wallow about other things. And appreciation about things that come easy softens the wallowing on subjects that feel even unrelated, because no subject is unrelated. This is the story that we've been telling you. You got 5 things, 4 of them are working really good, 1 of them not. And the tendency as humans is to focus on the one that isn't working in order to try to get it working. But if instead you would focus on the 4 that are working, the one that isn't working would start to work. Conversely, if you've got 5 things that you really care about and 4 of them are really not working and 1 of them is working, the tendency is to work on the 4 that aren't working to try to get them working. But if you would just focus on the one that is working, you would practice the vibration from the manifestation that's already occurred, and it would affect the vibration of all of the things that are still in the process of becoming. Ooh, we really like it when something that you almost understand comes home all the way for you. Yeah. So many of you have been trained to be objective, to face reality. And we say, you did not come to face reality. You came to create reality. You came to bounce off the reality that already exists. Put pieces of new ideas into your vibrational vortex. Allow law of attraction to stir it up and mix it up and compound it and add more to it and put the energy that creates worlds behind it and get it ready for you to realize it, you to become aware of it. And when that desire is born within you, we want you to know how much came before that. How much even before you came into your body, how much ever since you've been in your body, how much as your vortex has been growing and expanding and becoming, how much attention source energy has put to it. This is a real thing, and it's real for you, and you can have it, and this is your creation, and these are your ideas, and you get to do this, but you can't kill it with reality. You can't say that'll never work, because it will if you will let it, because the laws of the universe are queued up for it to work. How much time do you spend lying in your bed at night and keeping your blood pumping? There are things that happen without your attention. And so, as you accept that all of this is going on and that there is a reality and that it is full of the things that you have created, and it will, as it has already come from a vibration to the thought of your desire, this thought of your desire will turn to real things. It will turn to fortunes, it will turn to bank accounts, it will turn to relationships, it will turn to empires, it will turn to anything that you want it to turn to. These vibrational then thoughts do become things. That's what creation is all about. And so if you have been a physical human who has been walking around just looking at the things that have already been created, you might not be aware of how they got there. But we want you to begin to make the association between the thoughts that you've been thinking and what those thoughts are turning to. In other words, thoughts do turn to things. This is the creative process. And so we say all of that in the way of just giving you this one statement, which is the most important statement that you will ever know. Your thoughts matter a lot. And you can tell by the way you feel whether you are encouraging your creation to become more right before your eyes, or whether you are slowing it down. It will mature and it will become more, because law of attraction and natural momentum say that it must be. But you, dear hearts, have become so adept at beating the drum of what is that you so often do not allow the natural maturation of your own creations. When you want it, it is supposed to come, and it is supposed to surprise and delight you as it does. And as you look around your world, you know those masters. You see them. You see those people who come up with an idea about something that has never been before, and then sometime later you see it changing the whole face of your society because one person believed in something that nobody else believed in. And at first you call them crazy, and you often do not like them very much. You often see them as rebels, but we want you to know each of you has come with the potential of finding your own ideas and allowing Source, who creates worlds, to get behind you like the wind and blow you toward the realization of everything that you want. You are supposed to get what you want. So, sometimes you want to have a debate about materialism versus spiritualism. Am I not supposed to be more spiritual? Should I be caring about these things? And we say, that's a good point. When you care about things that you can't figure out how to get, you actually work in contradiction to your own allowing the thoughts to turn to things. But there is nothing that is more spiritual than the material things that are around you, because they are the leading edge of creation. And so if you will come to realize that you are a creator, but if you will put your emphasis upon how you feel, that's how you tend to the nurturing of the beginning of those thoughts. And if you care about how you feel and you allow yourself to hold that thought, it will become a reality. It is our promise to you. Esther's husband, Jerry, he made his transition about 4 years ago. But when Esther met him, she was so exhilarated by knowing him, because he already somehow had come to understand that thoughts do turn to things. And she watched him through the years that she was with him, over 30. And she noticed that when he had an idea about something, he often didn't talk about it to her in the early stages. And she always thought that was odd. At first it really bothered her. You know, you need to let me in on these things in case I don't want to do them. And he would say, precisely. Why would I talk to you about something before I have enough momentum that you can't stop it from happening? And Esther thought, that's tricky. I don't know if I like that very much. But she really had no choice, because Jerry was very private about things, very contemplative. She'd see him sitting at his desk, and he'd be sitting, and he'd have his notebook out on his table as if he was going to write something really profound and important. And she would look, sort of, as she was walking by, she would realize that nothing was written, but that he was deep in thought. And she used to call him the contemplator, because she could see that he was contemplating. And as time went by, she knew that it wasn't really very nice of her to interrupt his contemplation, because if she would say, "What are you thinking about?" he would say to her, "That is really not any of your business." And she would say, "All righty then. I'll go do something way more fun than what you're doing." But later, Jerry wrote a paper, and he called it "Keep Your Ideas to Yourself Until They Are Fully Developed," because he knew, innately, he knew that if his idea was allowed to be nurtured by the absence of resistance, that the energy that creates worlds would infuse it and support it, and that things, wonderful things, would come as a result of that. You all were his idea. He knew when he found Abraham flowing through Esther that this was something worth hearing. And Esther said, "If you tell anyone, I will personally kill you." Because she thought this was weird then. 1985 felt weird. Felt really weird. She knew infinite intelligence was flowing. She knew how good it felt. She could feel the power of it unquestioningly. She knew the value of it as they began applying it to her life. She was worried about what people would think of her if she were to allow something so unusual and so magnificent to occur. So Jerry kept her promise for a little while. And then one day, he opened his big mouth and said to an influential person who was gathering quite a lot of number of people to a conference, "Would you like to meet Abraham?" And Esther looked at Jerry, and if looks could kill, he would have made his transition in that moment. She could not believe that he was following his dream. She could not believe that the impulse was so strong within him that even though he honored her, and even though he knew that she really did not want to have you see her do this, he knew the importance of it. And so what we're getting at here is that there are all kinds of things that you want that you're not even willing to admit that you want, because there are resistant ideas around it. You don't want to be seen as weird. You don't want people to really know who you really are. You don't want to be the odd one out. You don't want to be criticized. You don't want to be misunderstood. Maybe you don't want to find failure. There are so many reasons that you don't allow yourself to allow what's in your vortex to grow and evolve and give you the joyous life experience that you were born to live. We just want you to know you were born to live it. And we think it's time for you to come out into the light and allow the desires that are yours to come to full fruition, where others can see them, whether they like to see them or not. We are eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. It is our desire to assist you in releasing resistance that you may have about the things that you desire. This is a wonderful leading edge conversation that we're going to have today, which means some things will have never been talked about before. But for those of you who are new to the material or new to a gathering like this, that won't make any difference to you, because we will not deliver to you anything that you are not ready to hear. We will give you a vibrational basis, and already have done that mostly. And it's our knowing that you're going to be up to speed with the things that we are talking about, and it's also our knowing that you are forever changed as a result of this vibrational conversation. Things will begin working out for you even better than before, because of the resistance releasing that is taking place in a conversation like this one. So, what do you want to talk about?